Welcome, Reapers, to the Corinthian Correspondence. My name is Nicholas, a disciple of Jesus Christ and student at Pathway to Ordination with the Assemblies of God. The epistles to the church in Corinth are letters that we often refer to as books of the Bible. These epistles are from the Apostle Paul, who founded the congregation in this port city of influence. He wrote these as a pastor and defender of his own apostleship and the Christological Doctrine. These letters are correspondences between Paul and the Corinthians. How do we know that there are more than two letters? How do we know that he was responding to the letters received from Corinth? Where are the other letters? Before we dig into some of the answers to these questions, please observe the background history of this era. It's nothing short of dramatic. Assuming we've all examined letters, we can agree that there are various areas and topics that we could spend boatloads of time examining in this presentation. For more of an overview, check out the two videos presented by the Bible Project in my video description below. Today, we'll only attempt to validate the idea of correspondence itself. We know that there are more than two letters by the content that we have access to in both Corinthian letters. Here we share a few clues and facts in the letters themselves that lead us and scholars to the correlated answer. Imagine four separate campsites. We'll call them Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. There are various scholarly opinions regarding the details in and around these two letters. Each opinion has ruled in and or out which campsite they stand within regarding the number of letters written between Paul and the church at Corinth. One area most, if not all of these scholars agree, is that there is a corresponding dialogue taking place, hence the fancy word epistle. Perhaps these scholars are in campsite Bravo or Charlie. Some might actually be in campsite Delta. Here in campsite Alpha, the letters are a story written within the Bible. In this campsite, people only repeat what others tell them exists and or existed. I was here for quite a long time, not recognizing some basic observations within Scripture that indicate corresponding dialogue, such as those observed by campers at Bravo in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 11. My brothers, some from Chloe's household have informed me that there are quarrels among you. Clearly, Paul is responding to information received prior to writing this letter we codify as 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 11. In Camp Bravo, we also have access to more evidence of correspondence in verse 9 of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, where Paul refers to a letter he wrote. I have written you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people, not at all meaning the people of this world who are immoral or greedy or swindlers or idolaters. In that case, you would have to leave this world. It seems clear to me that Paul is clarifying what he meant the first time around regarding a believing member behaving badly in the church. They seem to have misunderstood him in a letter he had access to, but unfortunately we do not. Paul gets more specific about excommunication for that behavior there as you read on. Turmoil in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 3 through 4. Paul refers to a painful letter. I wrote as I did so that when I came I should not be distressed by those who ought to make me rejoice. I had confidence in all of you, that you would all share my joy. For I wrote you out of great distress and anguish of heart, and with many tears, not to grieve you, but to let you know the depth of my love for you. In Campsite Charlie, this painful letter Paul wrote is possibly the very epistle 1 Corinthians which we have access to. In Lenski's book, listed in the video description below, Lenski contends that it is 1 Corinthians. Or was it another, like that of Delta? In campsite Delta, I place the merits of most scholars. According to Dr. Stanley M. Horton, most scholars believe the painful letter described by Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3 was written after 1 Corinthians and then lost, suggesting that there are at least 3 letters written by Paul in this correspondence. Many scholars share opinion, concluding that there are likely 4 letters in total. From the materials we examine today, in summary, we can outline 4 reference points, 3 of which are self-exclaimed exchanges between Paul and the Corinthian church, literally. Chloe's household, excommunication for sexual immorality and poor behavior, turmoil in the excommunication, and the 4th is the excellency of archaeologists and scholarly experts sharing with us valuable insights gleaned over time. With the various opinions between scholars and evidences in the Bible and other outside sources, personally I'm leaning toward there being 3 or more letters of exchange. But as a detective myself, I need more space and time to determine it's okay to leave Camp Bravo venturing elsewhere. I agree with both Horton, Lenski, and others, but the where and when is unclear to me. No longer am I scratching the surface of the Bible as I recall life in Campsite Alpha. Where do you stand? What answer would you fly high on a flagpole? Are the Corinthians and Paul only a Bible story, maybe not even real? Or are they a corresponding dialogue between pastor and real-life congregation with gaps of information? You be the judge for yourself. I doubt Paul knew back then that we today would be examining the good fruit of his ministry some 2,000 years later. He simply obeyed the Lord as he was commanded, but not until being blinded by the light of Jesus. In the famous words of my friend LeVar Burton from the 80s at Reading Rainbow, you don't have to take my word for it. Check out the epistles and letters yourself. Lead your way through the Bible and become your own private investigator.
Here's some other books that you might like, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Are you still here? Where are the other epistles? Examine this idea with me in a separate video. Subscribe to this Covenant Harvest channel and receive notification of this topic published at a later date. Send me a message or make a comment. Let me know what you learned or what you've discovered in your own investigations. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.